Hi, I'm Chris Direwald, and this is Power Play. Internet, making a government is hard. It is hard, and everybody stinks at it when they start, no matter what. Look at it this way. There's about 2 million federal employees, civilian federal employees. About 50,000 of them serve at the will and pleasure of the president, but that includes like the courthouse marshal in Plano, Texas. But there's about 4,000 positions that you got to fill pronto, Tonto, right away, and that includes about 80 super important national security jobs. The Trump administration in waiting is trying to get us bestride the bicycle here. How are they doing, and what's the key? People who know or who can wildly conjecture include Matt Schlapp, chairman of the American Conservative Union, and proven quite right in his political insights this cycle. Chuck Rocha has also been proven quite right in his political insights. He worked for Bernie Sanders. He is a a union-labeled Democrat from Texas, as the hat would connote. Okay, starting with you, Matt. It seems like, and maybe this is unfair, but it seems like Trump didn't think he was going to win and didn't pay a lot of attention to the transition and let Chris Christie sit over there and play house for a while. And then once he won, he kicked Christie out, put Pence in, and started from scratch. Is that fair?
I think that's somewhat fair. And I think the other thing that's kind of stupid that we can see is this whole Mitt Romney, Governor Leavitt push to have a pre-transition. Right. In the end, you only get the president-elect's attention when he's the president-elect, right, and then they start focusing on the transition. George W. Bush and Dick Cheney had a much truncated transition. He put Dick Cheney in charge of that thing, and they were off to the races. Nobody was going to question the incoming vice president. I think it was smart to do that with Mike Pence. Now it's game on.
And now, Chuck, George W. Bush had an advantage, was that he knew a guy who had been president. And didn't have a problem taking Republican loyalists. We saw with Obama, though, something interesting when he came in when he was doing this in 2008. He promised to similarly, he didn't say drain the swamp, but ethics reform, no lobbyists. He had run very hard as an outsider and somebody who was going to change the ways of Washington. But then when he has to build a government, he says, is Tom Daschle around? Because we really need people who know how to do this. How does Trump balance between his campaign promise to drain the swamp, but still populate it with competent human beings?
He needs to think about, he's got a majority in the House and a majority in the Senate, and he needs to figure out how he can reach out to those people, a la Priebus and the chief of staff, somebody who knows his way around Capitol Hill. But then also this base that you had said in an earlier segment, they were like 20% new show-ups amongst white conservatives in rural areas, right? Those people are hungry for results. They went out and voted, may not have voted for a long time. Some of those people voted for Barack Obama, and they want to see real change. And that's his real challenge, is do you get that real change with somebody from the inside or somebody who really hadn't been around?
But, Matt, no matter... The bureaucracy exists to defeat the ambitions of politicians in large part.
It always wins eventually.
And it always wins eventually because
drags you down.
And Matt worked in the Bush White House because you say, congratulations, you're the deputy undersecretary over here at HHS. And you say, oh, this is very exciting. I have an office, and there's a picture of the president and the vice president on the wall, and I'm going to go do it. And there are all of those people there who say, you can't fire me.
That's right.
You can't move me.
Can't do anything.
You can't do anything to me, and I can wait you out because I'll be here when you're gone.
That's right. And so you have to have people that have the relationships inside these buildings, that know the way that they can push those people back, and you got to hire loyal people. I remember at the State Department, we were literally sending the same people with the terrible policies going to these international meetings as Bill Clinton was. And finally I got called from somebody that said, you're sending all these people. It's like, no, we're not. We won. I'll make it stop. And I called in, and literally our own people had careered those people in the first days of the administration because we had a secretary who didn't want to toe the line to the president. And this is why it's dramatically important that he have both loyal people and competent people and people that understand. You got to understand government to defeat government.
The sound you hear behind us is the burrowing in, is what happens every time there's a change of party. And it happened with the Bush people in 2009 and 2008, which is you get moved from, you're a political appointee, and they find a civil service job for you so that you can fully inculcate yourself. When Obama looks at his legacy, a couple of things that Barack Obama did, Chuck, was number one, he did not make himself super available to the press, and he changed the rules about that. And now Trump says, I think that's a good idea. I don't know that I need to tell the press everything. But the other thing that he did was he used executive orders to do things that previous presidents have not. Are Democrats going to look back at what happens on the other side of this, these new precedents that Obama set for Every president uses executive orders. Barack Obama did not use executive orders more than other presidents, but he used them for things that were bigger than his predecessors had. Have precedents been set here that Trump is going to be able to take advantage of?
Yes, but I also think that Trump needs to be smart about it. There were certain things that he did that were also, believe it or not, political.
Yeah.
So the immigration and the DACA needed to happen.
Right.
There are lots of young children here that were brought here at no fault of their own, and he made at least have them be able to have some papers to work and go to college.
Right.
So if Donald Trump was smart, not saying you don't have to rescind everything, but there are ways to do this in a calculated way, in a heartfelt way, where you can still be a conservative, but figure out ways to walk through this gamut to think about the party for the long term.
He's going to rescind these, and they're not all executive orders. Sometimes they have the euphemism of an executive action. There are thousands of them. He's going to repeal them, and we ought to have legislation go through Congress. That's really not that controversial.
I don't know,
And this was Obama's biggest struggle mistake.
Okay, so last thing. What can Obama do between now and the 20th of January to protect some of these things that Trump's going to want to roll back?
I think that he's doing it right now. I think that you've seen him be more scholarly all the way back to it reminds me of Mr. Bush and how good he was, when the Democrats came in. Like, we all know what Obama thinks of Trump. He said it out loud. But since Trump has won, he has swallowed his pride, and he's like, he's going to be your president, whether you like it or not. Let's do this.
Are you after this long election, aren't you proud to see people acting right? Yes, there's protests, and yes, there's all this stuff.
Sure.
But Trump has acted right, Obama's acted right, and Hillary Clinton's acted right, and everybody's finding a little patriotic grace. And after this long ordeal, it's kind of nice.
It's what me and Matt say all the time about you.
Look, this is it's an American experiment.
Yes, that's right.
And it's more fragile than people realize.
Yes.
And so when you see what's going on in the streets, it's not a good thing. I mean, it's fine to be honest and to get your emotions out, but it's not good. We can unravel, and I don't think it's a course we should choose.
As the Duke of Marlborough said about the Battle of Waterloo, it was a near-run thing. Guys, thank you for being with us. And you, Internet, yay, you made it. Thanks for stopping by, and we hope you come back for more Power Play real soon.